Good morning, Dave here. Welcome back to the shop. We are continuing the process of building two identical urns for my friend. So we've seen the build, setting up of the router table to do the box joints. We've got our boxes all glued up. We saw setting the hinges. We saw installing the hinges. So the next step in the process, because I want to recess the bottom into the box so it's not visible from the side as you're looking at it, I'm going to recess a 1/2 inch cherry board into the bottom of the box. So I'm going to do that on the router table. So I've selected this 1/2 inch deep, and I guess it's a variable thickness, and you can choose the bearing that goes on it based on how deep you want it to go. So I want to go, this is 1/2 inch wood, so I'm going to go 1/4 inch and end up with a nice rabbet that the board can sit in. Now the critical piece of this is to understand that this router bit spins in this direction, spins counterclockwise when the router is in this direction. So as we're going to route this and run this so that to cut that rabbet, it's really critical to understand that you need to go against the way that that bit turns. So I'll be setting the box over it. Let me open that up so you get a little bit better view. Running it this direction all the way around. So we'll get a nice, even, consistent 1/2 inch in depth and 1/4 inch in width so that that box can sit in there. So that's the next step in the process. We'll show you the results when we're done with them. Catch you on the next one. God bless y'all. So now we see the results of running this through the router, cutting that nice rabbet on the bottom. Now, some would say, ask the question is, well, why didn't you rabbet this before you put the boxes together? And that's a great question. And under normal circumstances, or I shouldn't say normal, but there are multiple corner styles that you can make. These obviously happen to be box joints, as we discussed already. You can miter these, and that's just putting a 45-degree angle across, in which case I would have rabbeted that out ahead of time. But since rabbeting this beforehand and going all the way through would eliminate, as you can see, part of the end of each one of these. So you would have a gap for half of that, and you'd have a gap, hold it up here, for the other half on this side. So we can't have that. So now, normally I would use perhaps a plunge cut to do a dado, which works well, and I've done that when I've done box joints and put a dado, which is just a cut through, doesn't come all the way through on the bottom, as most of you already know. And that's pretty easy to do, but because we're slinging such a big blade on that router bit and trying to do that plunge cut and hold everything in the proper plane, it just got to be a bit too dangerous. Believe me, I tried it, and in spite of taking as many safety precautions as I could, it definitely grabbed that piece of wood, tried to pull it out of my hand. So that's why we're doing this. So now as I inset the bottom, what I'll do is I'll cut the bottom to the proper dimensions, both length and width. The depth is already milled up at 1/2 inch. And I'll just go over to the sander. I'll radius that, and I'll go over to the belt sander, the oscillating sander, and I'll sand all four corners, and that'll fit in really nice. What that allows is for the box to sit perfectly flat. Put this stuff out of the way. It will allow the box to sit perfectly flat, and we'll attach it with glue. Pretty simple stuff. That's where we're at. That's what's next. Bottom and the top, and then we'll put a finish on it. You want to use Odie's oil with hard wax. I think I mentioned that before, and then they'll be done. Nice part about Odie's oil is that you can, once you wipe it and buff it, you can bring it in the house, and what you smell is kind of a nice aroma as opposed to the aroma that you get with any kind of varnish on it. And then it's completely hard within 72 hours. But you can actually bring it in the house and use it without fear of scratching it, ruining the surface at all. You can touch it. You won't be able to see any fingerprints or anything else on it. So that's where we're at. Update next when it comes to attaching the top and the bottom, and then we'll go on to finish. You guys have a great day. Bless y'all.